take control of your mind and your thoughts and focus on your breathing. Feel the power of you, the real you, controlling your breathing. The real you is always present right now. You are more powerful than you can ever begin to imagine, because you get to focus on the greatest gift ever. Now, your presence, where your attention is being drawn to now, no matter what's going on outside your mind. Feel the power of your breathing. There are astronomical numbers of things going on in one breath. That's how powerful you are. That's how powerful your determination is. So let's use that power. Let's use that third eye, that mind's eye that we all have. Let's use it right now. And let's see ourselves doing the best we can on all the stretches and exercises today in our gym period. Gym. G-Y-M. Grow your mind. And here we are in the gym of life.
Rockets in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. And we gon' make you lose your mind. Everybody just have a good time. Party rockets in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. And we gon' make you lose your mind. We just wanna see you shake that.
She on my jock, Now stop when we in the spot. Booty moving weight like she on the block. With a drink, I got to know. Top jeans tattoo, cause I'm rockin' raw. Half black, half white, diamond now. Gang of money, open up.
Yeah, I'm running through these halls like Drano. I got that devilish flow, rock and roll, no halo. We party rock. Yeah, that's the crew that I'm reppin' on a rise to the top. No lead in our Zeppelin. Hey, party rockers in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. Yeah. And we gon' make you lose your mind. Everybody just have a good time. Let's go. Party rockers in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. And we gon' make you lose your mind. We just wanna see you shake that.
Muy cerca del récord de goles, espérate, de Tosak la temporada pasada, del Madrid de Tosak. ¡Ay, chuta Messi, gol!
Morning, guys. Another major fear we have to control, master, or overcome is the fear of ill health. And this one is a challenging one each and every day for us because there are so many things that can happen. There are so many illnesses, things that happen to us that we don't expect. And we have to overcome this fear because we don't realize it, but our mind, our thoughts, that energy will affect the physical aspect of ourselves in every process the body has. So one thing that's helped me, I hope it helps you, is the idea that of Napoleon Hill, who said simply, if you think you're sick, you are sick. Over time, your body, your brain will get your body to produce those physical manifestations. So you got to think of yourself in a way where you're not afraid to get sick. You are healthy, you're happy, you are free, and it will help to also heal your body. Have a great day, everyone.
If you know my life, I've had a lot of different things take place, a lot of conflict. And we have different areas where there's conflict. There's internal conflict. When I was a kid, I had this conflict where I didn't believe that I deserved very much because, well, my mom gave me away into foster care. So I had that internal conflict. There's the interpersonal conflict, right? There's the people that are trying to do things in my life that maybe I don't want them to do, but they know is better for me. Parents and kids, obviously. Or there's people in your own relationships that, there's just that conflict we have. Janet, alluded to with her relationship as well. Then you have things that are conflicts with, say, nature. Like I got yesterday, my wife FaceTimed me when she was pulling to the house. There was a turkey literally on my truck. And she's like, you better get out of here because this turkey is going to scratch your truck. Like there's conflict with nature. Then you have conflict, I believe, with like society. 100% you go places and there are people who are like, we have the whole thing of Karens, right? This is just a thing. I'm not saying there's a Karen on here that has that experience, but we have conflict with other people. It's all over the place, right? Conflict is a natural part of life and led me to realize, you know what? I think conflict is necessary. Like it's necessary for growth. It's necessary for us to get to a point, I believe, of having success, because the next level of what you want to come outside of your comfort zone. And you're going to have a conflict when you reach that, even if it's saying, hey, this is what I'm worth. Pay me this as an employee or as a business owner. No matter what it is, there's going to be a conflict of asking that next step. And so if we don't navigate conflict well, or we completely avoid it, I believe we avoid success. And so when I was thinking through this, I want to think through different areas and stages and steps where conflict has showed up in my life and how I can give you lessons from the lessons I've extracted. And I love that these topics come in a way for me to actually take a moment to pause, go back and go, what in life did I experience that I didn't learn from? Because if you're like me, you've experienced life and you move past it. But a lot of the golden lessons that we really need, they're sitting right there in our memory or in the past or in situations we didn't want to look into or uncover or really spend time in because of the emotional pain of doing so or the thought strife, right? But here's one thing. I do believe that unfortunately conflict creates disconnection. Right? It disconnects you from joy at times. It'll disconnect you from other people, right? It disconnects you from appreciation or perspective, or it can actually disconnect you from the thing we honestly, I think, want most, which is love. And where conflict is necessary, it's also this thing where it can be the thing that disconnects us from some of the things we want. So it's weird because it has this tie to so much in life. And so with this thought, like I want us to be able to think about where we can create from conflict, whether it's create moments that are opposite of a hard situation that we're in the middle of right now, or how conflict can create that next thing we want in life. Where's the conflict you should seek, so to speak? I want you to think about in moments in life when you've thought about a conflict moment, right? Show up to a moment, something takes place. What takes over at that moment? Now, usually we will react because the conflict creates an emotion that we're not usually in, whether it's anxiety from something taking place and we go to this reactionary situation, or we can respond. Now, most people, we react because something happened. I get mad. My emotion flares up. When the emotion's high, well, my intelligence is low. And I just start going in the directions and saying certain things. And all of a sudden, I got to breathe and calm and come back to center. And so what I think we should do is take a note that in those moments, ask yourself a simple question, which I think helps lead us into response mode, which is, what is this conflict really about? Now, that question may seem simple, but it actually is very powerful in its simplicity, because I love the statement of no moment has any meaning except the meaning we place upon it. And we are in the middle of a conflict. There's a meaning that initially pops up. So you have this strife, this stress that, all of a sudden comes in. And then what we do is we just start reacting to what we believe was taking place, the meaning we gave this moment. For example, my wife, there's times when I was on my phone often in the past in our marriage, and I'm pretty good at not having it around. In fact, oddly, she's the one on her phone more often than not nowadays. But I was on, and she used to be like, why are you on the phone? Can you get off the phone? And it created this conflict that I kept thinking she just didn't want me to be doing my work. I was like, I do my work, but it wasn't actually the real conflict. The real conflict was she felt second place to my phone. Right. And so what happened is I had created this meaning of, well, this is my work. You don't support my work because you don't let me work when I need to work, because my phone is my work. And it had nothing to do with that. And so I was creating this conflict, this moment, this argument out of the reality of it was a meaning that was poorly placed by me. The true meaning of what the situation was she just wanted her quality time. It's one of her 5 love languages. And so as you start thinking about moments, take a note and say, in the middle of this, when it's rearing its head, to pause, to breathe, to not step immediately into a moment and go, hey, what is this conflict really about? Right? Maybe someone is asking for a raise and you're an employee or employer, sorry, and they want a raise, and your thought is they come at a certain direction, and maybe that the meaning is they want more money because they think that you're undervaluing them, and whatever it may be. But the reality might be maybe their parent is sick and they have to find a way to make more revenue or income to pay for some bills, or something happened at home that they need to cover, right? There's going to be a deeper meaning if you can pause and either ask this person, hey, what's the real issue going on? Or think about what a different situation is. It helps alleviate the initial, we'll call it abruptness of what's going on and the intensity that unfolds from that moment. So the first thing I would have you do is ask in moments of conflict, what is this conflict really about? And give yourself space to step out of it and look at it with a separate eye, a little bit of a different perspective, because in doing so, it'll give you a different view. But if you don't go looking for it, it's not just going to pop up in front of your face, right? So in those moments, think about it. Next, do I want or need to get involved in the conflict? This is one that I don't think enough people ask, because a lot of the times we don't need to get involved with things. Who's ever been scrolling on social media and you see something happen, there's a comment or a post, and we go, I'm going to give my 2 cents. And you do. And next thing you know, you're in the next 3 hours, it's back and forth battle on social media. And you're like, I didn't need to join that in the first place. I ask this question often. My wife does it. She likes to stoke fires. That's hilarious when she sends me pictures. But the idea is sometimes we don't need to get into the conflict in the first place, because one of 2 things is a situation here. One, it isn't going to better my life. I'm not going to improve my world by being in this conflict sometimes, right? Now, maybe you will. Maybe it's something you do have to get into. That's a different, discussion point. But this one is, sometimes there are points of conflict that we see that are making us feel a certain way, and we believe we have to step in, and you really do not have to, because you're not asking the question of what's this going to turn into. It's the here and now, it's the emotion of it. And if you just stop and go, you know what? Okay, I don't actually have to comment because this person was wrong about this statement. They're not going to actually care. That's the thing, is sometimes we step into things not realizing they're not going to care anything you have to say. So the reality is sometimes we can stop and go, do I need to get involved in this? And the answer is no. And you move on with your life.
Are you ready to bubble? Everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, bubbling, everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 bubbling, dance all night, we go dance all night. Yo, are you ready to bubble? Dance all night, we go dance all night. We want this year. Dance all night, we go dance all night. Dance all, dance all, dance all, dance all. All right, y'all. Are you ready to bubble? Bubbling, everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, bubbling, everybody bubbling, little bubble, bubble, bubbling, bubbling, everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, little bubble, bubbling, yo, bubbly, 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 alright, make way when you see me pass through, and they come with me too. You don't know what to do. Drinks up, hands up, everything in the air. Everybody done young, there's a party over here. That's right, we drink just bubbling. Watch how we wine while the DJ juggling. He got the whole dance floor just bubbling. Champagne bottles just popping. We going on, I guess tonight we not stopping. Let's party hard tonight, so going non-stop until the sunlight. We going non-stop until the sunlight. The club done full, only woman inside. It's a good night to get we head tight. It's a good night to get we head tight. Couple up this party going for a night. Green drinks, we don't care, we go down.
contact goal.
Messi. ¡Gol!
Guys, I want to share with you Oprah Winfrey's 7th rule for success, and that is we're all seeking the same thing. And this is one that we forget when we're caught up in our own lives and we're trying to get what it is we're looking for. We have to remember and step back and say to ourselves, we're all seeking the same thing. We all want to be the highest and truest expression of our human nature. And we're trying to figure this thing out. We're trying to figure out how to do it. It's very difficult. But what's helped Oprah Winfrey and many greats out there is that they stay focused on the fact that we're all the same. And that's why they've been so successful, because whatever it is she's sharing, what's worked for her, it's common to everyone. For myself, I am so passionate about helping people understand, and myself, the power of our minds, because that's the one thing that brings us all together. It's the one common denominator. So we all share that. Have a great day, everybody.
How can people begin to attract the life that they want?
To bring abundance into your life, you have to be cultivating an abundant mindset. And so a really easy way to start is to list the things that you're grateful for that you already have. And as part of attracting things into your life or manifestation, imagine it being true. Imagine what it would look like, feel like, smell like. And then when you have that vision in your mind, give gratitude for it becoming true. So then it sets you on a path of,
I'm grateful for the things that I've got. These are the things that I want.
And you're staying positive and abundant and grateful. And that's much more likely to attract those good things into your life.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because I need them. Because being around successful entrepreneurs who are pushing, who are driving, who are doing amazing things gives me that extra little motivational, inspirational boost in the morning every day to help me go off and accomplish great things too. And I hope that this video gives you that inspiration as well. So today, let's learn some practical steps you could take right now to bring success into your life. Enjoy. Step number 2 is practice gratitude with Lewis Howes.
So how can we put the law of attraction into practice? Now let's go back to our examples and apply a new way of thinking. If you're caught in thinking negatively about the world and about yourself, this is so important. What would change inside of you if you looked around and you wrote down 5 things that you're grateful for about the world? Now, this, for me, is part of the secret to the law of attraction. The foundation is gratitude. It's your way of being must be grateful in order to attract new things. There's so many things in my life that I should not have attracted because I didn't have the skills, because I didn't have the tools, because I didn't have the education, because I didn't have the money, because I didn't have the resources. So many things that I shouldn't have attracted, but because I had the foundation of gratitude, passion, joy, curiosity, those things started to come to me, and they can come to you as well if you come from that place of gratitude as your foundation. So you want to think about, what are these things that are important to me in my life? It can be simple things. It could be like this cup of coffee that I have right now. It can be that I have a roof over my head, that I've got quality friends, that I'm healthy, that I'm walking in nature today. It doesn't have to be some grandiose thing that's happened to you to be grateful for. I'm so grateful for these little present moments with people that I care about, to spend an hour on the beach, to go for a walk with a friend, to have a good conversation with someone and talk about something that I'm going through. For me, that's just as meaningful. The moments in between the big moments are just as meaningful. So write down these things or think about these things. This is something I embed in my daily life. When I wake up, I think about what I'm grateful for. When I go to sleep, I think about and reflect on the things I'm grateful for from that day. And it's just my way of being for as much as I can. Now, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, and there's some times I'm negative, but it's something that I try to really focus on as much as possible. So instead of saying that you're not enough, that you don't deserve success, what if you looked in the mirror on a daily basis? I dare you to look in the mirror on a daily basis and say, I am enough, and I do deserve the results that I want to create in my life because I show up, because I'm consistent, because I work hard, because I care about my work. If you looked in the mirror and you did this consistently for 30 days and you actually use the word action in attraction and you put it into practice on a daily basis towards that growth, I'd be amazed to see what you attract and what you manifest in your life.
Step number 3 is learn about money with Jen Sincero.
What do you think are the key things that abundant mindset people around money do differently than scarcity mindset people around money? If you had to say 3 or 5 kind of key things.
They appreciate it, as you said. That is a biggie. They appreciate it and they speak about it as they love it. They're not weird about it. They're also generous with it, because when you pinch yourself off from giving, that is sort of a subconscious way of saying there's not enough to go around and it's not going to be, I'm not in the flow. So when you don't give generously, it's because you're scared that it's not going to come in anymore. They take risks. You know, you got to take risks. You are where you are because you've been doing what you've been doing. So if you want to change your life, you've got to do stuff you've never done. What else? Wealthy people. They learn about money. Like you focus on money. Like that was such a big thing for me too. Like when I was broke, I never wanted to think about money, right? I was all about writing songs and, doing much, more noble things.
Sure.
But when you're broke, all you think about is money. Like, I don't really think about money that much now that I have it. Like, but every single decision you make when you're broke is about.
Do I have enough to pay for this?
Exactly.
Can I afford it? What happens if I don't have it?
Right. You wake up first thing in the morning in a panic because you got to pay your bills. So you're always thinking about money. So it is really just sort of getting in the flow with that and just, being on good terms with it and focusing on it. And how are you going to make it? Like being realistic about your income streams and if you want to make it, you've got to coax it in, give it.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Step number 4 is have a wealth mindset with Marissa Peer.
It's certainly true that in our grandparents' generation, if you had an education, you were far more likely to make success, to make money, but actually it isn't true anymore. Some of the most successful people we look at and admire and envy did not come from wealth. They didn't have a university education. Look at Tony Robbins, an incredibly wealthy, successful, idolized coach who came from nothing. Look at Oprah Winfrey, Alan Sugar, Chris Evans. So many people we look at did not go to university, didn't come from money. And today we have the advantage that if you can have an idea and monetize it, you can make it having never gone to university. So the secret to abundance is not a university education. In fact, I know many people who came out of university and can't get employed. It's not even coming from wealth. After all Paul Getty's children came from wealth, but that didn't help them. In fact, it's true to say it handicapped them. What helps you to acquire wealth is to have a wealth mindset. How do you have a wealth mindset? Well, think of something you want to monetize, and you have to really believe in yourself. You see, if you think of James Dyson, he looked at a vacuum cleaner and he made it better than it was. There are people like the woman who founded Spanx, who took shapewear and made it better than it already was. So first of all, you have to have an idea. What is it in you? What could you monetize, create, make, invent, or simply improve? You have an idea, that's the starting one. But now you must have phenomenal confidence, incredible self-belief that you are going to make it. And then you have to have a work ethic. You have to put time and effort into your idea. So me, for example, I always wanted to be a therapist. I wanted to be the best therapist. And then I wanted to change the world of therapy, to revolutionize it, to make it better. A bit like Dyson revolutionized a hairdryer I wanted to revolutionize therapy. That was an idea. I had an idea. I had a belief that I could do it. I came across roadblocks, of course, and then I kept going. I did what I didn't want to do. I thought outside the box. I put a lot of work and effort and innovation into being something that I knew I could be, and I did it. And anyone can take that formula, have an idea, apply to that idea tremendous self-belief, phenomenal self-confidence, think outside the box. Don't take no for an answer. Find people that can help you. That's very important. Who can help you? Who can mentor you? Who can you role model yourself on? And how much work are you prepared to do? Do you think Oprah Winfrey said, oh, have a show? Well, I got a show. There's a lot of work goes into having a show. Tony Robbins, huge amount of work goes into taking that show on the road, but you can do it. An idea is an idea, but when you commit that idea down into chunks, when you get other people on board, when you write it out as a plan, when you put up a vision board and say, I am successful, I am doing this, then you can do it. And so often you can just look at a product and think, I could make this better, I could reinvent it. That's what happens all the time in publishing, because here's another thing. Once upon a time, you wrote a book, you took it to a publisher, they went, oh, no thank you, and you were finished. Now, you can self-publish, and self-publishing is now very respected. So now you can have an idea to write a book, a manual, you can take it to Amazon, you can go to CreateSpace, you can self-publish, you can get people to fundraise your business. There are so many things that you can do. So please don't think, my education holds me back. That may be a great advantage. Please don't think I haven't got experience. That can be a good thing. But let's look at the blocks that get in your way. What is getting in your way are your thoughts. There is no glass ceiling. That is entirely in your imagination. The glass ceiling is here, and you can smash through that, shatter that if you want to. But you have to really believe in yourself. If you are going to work for yourself and have your own startup like Airbnb, what a great idea. Guys that were sleeping on people's sofas created Airbnb. No university education was required, no experience was required, and yet they built a fantastic business. They had a thought, they put it into action, put a lot of work into it. Same thing with Uber, revolutionizing taxi cabs. It was an idea, and behind that idea was hard work, grit, persistence, but most of all the idea that, wow, I could revolutionize something as simple as a cab ride. So let's have a look at you. What are your beliefs? Here's the common ones. It's too difficult, it's too hard, it takes too much effort, nobody will like it, I don't have experience, I didn't go to college, I haven't got money behind me. You see, if you pick some amazing people out there doing well, they had all of those reasons to fail, but they said it doesn't matter. I don't have money behind me, I'll crowdfund, I'll get a loan, I'll mortgage my house, I'll do something. I don't have a university education, it doesn't matter. That means you think outside the box. I don't have experience, you can get experience. So please don't allow beliefs to hold you back. Beliefs hold you back, habits hold you back. The habit of thinking, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not experienced, I'm not old enough. When I was a therapist, people say, but you're too young to be a therapist, you're too young to know all this stuff. I know people now who say, but aren't I too old? I'm a retiree, surely I'm too old. You see, all of these beliefs are only real if you believe them. Age is not a barrier. Background is not a barrier. Even knowledge is not a barrier. Many people say, I have no idea what I'm doing. Richard Branson called his first company Virgin because he was selling audio cassettes. People would record them, send them back and get a refund. And he was so naive, he called his company Virgin because he was a virgin in business. But he learnt as he went along. He didn't have experience, but he had one thing that we can all have: phenomenal self-belief, determination, commitment, raw enthusiasm.
Dale a tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena, que tu cuerpo para dar la alegría, cosa buena. Dale a tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena, Macarena. Dale a tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena, que tu cuerpo para dar la alegría, cosa buena. Dale a tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena, Macarena. Dale a tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena, que tu cuerpo para dar la alegría, cosa buena. Dale a tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena, Macarena. Dale a tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena, que tu cuerpo para dar la alegría, cosa buena. Dale a tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena, Macarena.
Morning, guys. One of the things that's helped me so much, and I really hope this helps you in my path to infinite mind wealth and living, laughing and loving it, and I do. And so I laugh at this now. See, one of the things we have to remember is that whatever we are, whatever we're seeking in others, like if we're seeking some sort of change, you know, we might really want our friends, our spouse, our coworkers, whatever it is, we want that change in them. Sometimes we might get frustrated. Sometimes we might have negative thoughts towards them. But we have to realize that that negative thought that we put out towards others is really who we are right now. And I laugh at myself because I make mistakes. I fail at this all the time. But every day I try to control my mind, because that which we are seeking to change in others is really a change we're seeking within ourselves. So it all starts with what we are, and we have to work on ourselves every day. So whatever you are is what you will share with everyone else. Have a great day, everyone.
You're going to learn something real powerful that I'd like to talk about right now. When you are 90, you rarely talk about what you did. You always talk about what you didn't do. If you are lucky enough, and if one of you get inspired to spend just a little time, 6 hours, 10 hours this year, with a 75 to 90-year-old that you don't know, and you listen, what she or he will talk about is what they didn't do. I wish I did something different in my career. You know, the thing that impacted me as a workaholic and someone who's really ambitious, I wish I spent more time with my kids. That hit me hard. When I started doing this in my 30s, 40s, that's my danger. And it shifted me. It's never too late to fight for more happiness. It's never a bad idea. I watch so many of my friends at 50, 60, just wrapping it up. They're like, Gary, all the stuff you talk about, I'm done. I'm like, done what? You're gonna live to 90. You're 56. You're gonna live another 40 years. You're done? You should never be done to not regret. You should never be done to be happier.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because I need it. I need it for me, because I don't wake up every day and say, yes, let's go conquer the world. No, I wake up and I need that external motivation to match my internal motivation. When I see somebody who's doing amazing things, it makes me just want to play a bigger game. And so I hope that today's video makes you want to play a bigger game too, because your message matters, and let's get it out to the world. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Gary Vaynerchuk, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Rule number 2 is master marketing.
The framework for me doing social brand building and building businesses is what's the brand stand for? What's the business objective? The next thing we do is we create 40 to 50 consumer segmentations, not 3, right? 40 to 50 consumer segmentations. 18 to 22-year-old males living in Bangladesh that are into esports. 21 to 27-year-old females in Tokyo making $200,000 a year. 40 to 45-year-old moms in Malaysia who have an affinity towards high fashion. Real specific consumer cohorts with real teeth, okay? Next on that is called PAC, platforms and culture. Like, do you actually understand what the platforms are doing? Next, which platforms are you creating for? You've now gone the whole way down. Now we're gonna pick Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And for me, every brand that's in this room should be on all of them. But this is back to allocation, where do their dollars go? So they can't, but they should, but they'd rather spend $8 million on a TV spot. So you lay out the platforms. Then you go to work. So now you created a framework. Now your creative and strategy team are ready to work. Now you start posting against the framework, right? You know what consumer you're going after. You know what you're trying to achieve in business. You know how the platforms work. So you know Facebook Reels is underpriced right now. You know that green screen headline creative is over-indexing on TikTok. You know. So you start making. Now the work really begins after you make. You have a person in your strategy team called a PCS, a post-creative strategist. Her and his job is to look at all the qualitative feedback. You have your analytics and media team look at the quant feedback, and you start making your machine smart, like a half-pregnant AI. The team gets smart through the work. You start looking at the proxies. When you've got a retail brand that sells in retail stores, you're running the media against holdout clusters to prove that you're actually driving incremental growth. If you have a DTC brand or an app, it's a piece of cake. You're just looking at the black and white data. When the creative goes viral or over-indexes its norm, it becomes the brief for more efficient and effective work. So now the virality, based on the consumer sentiment and intent and truth, becomes a proxy to your brief, not a strategist sitting in an office, going on Reddit for 4 hours, writing a brief. Then you do that forever and ever and ever. Your cohorts are an accordion. As you start getting affirmation that something's not working, you actually eliminate Malaysian moms 40, 45 because you aren't finding affinity. Your creative team hasn't hit the mark. On the flip side, while marketing to Indonesia gamers 13 to 15, you realize it's actually the female gamers 13 to 15 that are even more interested in the intent, and you create a new cohort to go there to double down on the truth of the consumer, not the audacity of the boardroom.
Rule number 3 is embrace the power of AI.
In Vayner right now, we're being cautious. I think one of the things that we recognize is we don't know the source of the information. So as you can imagine, Garrett, we're trying to be very thoughtful of like copyright and trademark. Those are things we need to be very careful of. So we're kind of quote unquote staying away from it right now, other than using it internally and trying to get a sense of it, make sure we're not behind the bell curve. You know, I think it's going to make the world more interesting. I think it's going to commoditize some things that is going to change the landscape, no different than the tractor did for farming. But I also think it's going to help the critical thinkers and the most creative in our industry. I think once you grasp how to be good at AI, it's the critical thinking and the creative thinking input that people are going to put into these algos, into these platforms, into these search bars. And I think it's going to create really dynamic work. And so I think at first people are going to meet it with fear. They did that with the internet, they did that with social media, they did that with the iPhone. But I think over the next 3 to 5 years, we'll have a more healthy view on it that I find will be balanced, meaning there'll be some pros and there'll be some cons like everything. But I think for our industry, I believe the most creative people in our industry are gonna flourish in an AI world because she or he is gonna be able to input so many different creative takes into these AI infrastructures, and they're gonna get output that's gonna be meaningful, and they're gonna be able to build on that. And I'm actually pretty excited what it's gonna be for the creative class.
Rule number 4 is be strategic.
And we end as we begin. Legs crossed, back straight. Eyes closed. Breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth. Well, the truth is, there's no ending. There's no beginning. Today we started, beginning like we always do, with our eyes closed, imagining going into the future. Only you can do that. Only we can do that. It's all possible through the power of our mind and our thoughts. But we have to control that mind and those thoughts. Because even they are not who we really are. To control our minds, to master our minds, we have to simply be here, now, present. That's our super determination. Imagine all of us united with our thoughts, mind and body as one, all together, right now.
The Here Music.